Master LeVeque, Grand Master of the Masons in Michigan, and I wanted to take a few minutes out of my time to introduce you to a couple of special friends that I brought with me today. We're here at the Amway Grand Plaza in Grand Rapids, and we're celebrating the annual session of Job's Daughters International, and we're here in the Ambassador Ballroom. I have with me today Angie Greer and Sidney Hovious, and you're going to learn a little bit more about them as we go on. And first, let's take a moment and find out a little bit more about Angie. Angie is going to become the Grand Bethel Honored Queen of Job's Daughters. Angie, thanks for being out here today.
Thanks for having me.
This thing called Job's Daughters, the Masons in Michigan are curious about it because they've never been to a meeting of Job's Daughters. Tell me, what's a Job's Daughter?
A Job's Daughter is a girl between the age of 10 and 20.
Okay. Is that it? Does she have any Masonic affiliation?
Yes, she has to be related to a Master Mason to be in Job's Daughters.
What's your Masonic affiliation?
My father is my Masonic affiliation.
Tell us about your dad a little bit.
Where is he a Mason?
He's not so active in Masons now because he's more active in Job's Daughters, but he was a Mason of Welfare Masonic Lodge.
590.
590, yeah, sure.
Where is that?
It's in Genesee County, but we live in Flint, so it's like 5 minutes away from our house. So, yeah.
And that's how you learned about Job's Daughters, from your father?
Yes, my grandfather was a Mason also, but I did learn it from my father because I'd never knew my grandfather.
Great.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about Job's. How come we're here this weekend? What's going on?
Well, this is our grand session, and it's an annual meeting place. We obviously meet here once a year, annual meeting place, okay? Well, basically, the real purpose of this grand session is to elect the new Grand Bethel Junior Princess, which is a state officer who will be moving up the line to eventually be what I'm going to be starting tomorrow, Grand Bethel Honor Queen.
Oh, so wait, you were elected to this Grand Bethel Junior Princess. How long have you been doing this?
It's a 3-year line, so
3 years.
2 years ago I was elected.
So do you get to travel any?
Yes. I actually went to Canada, which is the farthest I've gone with Job's, but yeah, for an Amaranth meeting with the Job's. They were doing the Lighted Cross there.
So, like, you have local groups of Job's Daughters. What are they called?
Bethels.
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 Cool. I want to come and visit a Job's Daughters Bethel, and as a Mason, I've never been, so what do I have to do?
What do you mean? What do you have to do?
Do I have to do anything special to show up to a meeting?
Well, if you've never attended a meeting before, you have to assume a pledge of honor. Just keeping not our secrets, but making sure that all of our work will be kept under wraps, I guess.
So does Job's have like a specific charity? You know, all the Masons always have charities. What does Job's Daughters have?
Job's Daughters has Hike for one charity, but the Grand Bethel Honor Queen and the Grand Guardian choose their own charity. The Grand Guardian chose Hike this year as her own charity, and mine would be the American Cancer Society.
Oh, very good. All right. So the girls, when I come and visit a Job's Daughters Bethel, what do I expect the girls to look like, and how do they act, and how many are there?
Well, there are 19 stations in a Bethel. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's filled, but we wear white Grecian robes to symbolize equality, and the 3 daughters in the East are the highest ranking officers in the Bethel, and they preside over the meeting. The Honor Queen presides over the meeting.
Okay, all right.
What's the reference to Job? Because, you know, when I looked it up online, Job's daughter came up with jobs.
Oh, jobs.
Right. So what's the connection with Job?
Well, during initiation, we teach basically the Book of Job. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Book of Job. Basically, he went through a bunch of trials, and he remained faithful to God throughout his trials. And so he was rewarded from God with twice as many things as he had before. And so basically what we teach is that as we go through these trials, we have to be strong, and life goes on.
Right.
So you have the audience of all the Masons, and if you wanted to tell them anything about Job's, what would it be?
Well, I think I would have to say just this organization creates powerful women. It teaches us to respect our elders, to publicly speak with confidence, et cetera, et cetera.
That's great.
All right, that's perfect. I also have Miss Sidney Hovious with me, who is the Grand Worthy Advisor of Rainbow for Girls. Sidney, thanks for coming and spending a few minutes with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
I see rainbows in the sky all the time. How do you relate to the Rainbow Girls of Michigan? I don't know what it means to be a rainbow. Can you tell me?
Well, we mostly get rainbow because in the Bible there's a verse that the rainbow is the ancient promise of God to his people that he will never again destroy the world by flood. So if you look at our stations, we have faith, hope, and charity. But the greatest of these is charity. So we're that promise that we basically teach, like, God is here to help us through faith and hope and through charitable deeds.
That's awesome. Now, how do the Masons fit into Rainbow? Do you guys talk about the Masons in Rainbow?
Actually, we do talk a little bit about the lambskin apron, though we never fully know its meaning. It's dear to us because our fathers, it's dear to them and they love it.
If, as a Mason, I wanted to come and visit, first of all, what would I be visiting? Is it a Bethel like in Job's Daughters?
No, we have assemblies.
Assemblies. And why do you call them assemblies?
It's just another way of...
Just an assembling of girls?
Yeah, it's just a
Conglomeration?
conglomeration of girls that assemble together about twice a month at their local level.
Oh, twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
So, as Masons, we meet once a month and you guys meet twice a month. Is there any particular reason why the girls get together twice a month?
Mostly because we do put on a lot of service projects, because our local assemblies, we raise money for a charity that means something to the worthy advisor and to the girls of that assembly. And also we come together to raise money for the charity for the Grand Assembly.
Do rainbows have a large, like Job's Daughters has hiked, does Rainbow have a large charity that they support? Or do you choose it each year at a local level or a state level?
The local level changes as we do half years. So the Worthy Advisor is in for 6 months. But at the state level, the Grand Worthy Advisor is in for a whole year. But the charity changes as the Worthy Advisor, Grand Worthy Advisor changes.
At an assembly, how many girls are there that participate as officers?
There's 22. There's 22 officers, but at the grand level there can be a few more.
Wow, so you even have more at the grand level.
Because we have a Grand Rose lecture, which is normally not in a local assembly.
Awesome. At the state level, do you guys travel around, or do you kind of stay in one local area?
Oh, we travel. The Rainbow Grasp of Friendship is beyond just our local assembly. We have girls as close, well, to me as Canada. Canada's about a half-hour drive, all the way down to Brazil and Australia.
Oh.
So there's about 56 other grand jurisdictions.
So it's international then.
Oh, well, we're the International Order of the
There
Rainbow
you
for
go.
Girls.
That's what I was looking for. So as a Mason, I've never visited an assembly, and I want to visit an assembly. What can I expect if I walk in the door and there's rainbow going on that night?
Well, first, in order to attend a closed meeting, you have to be a Master Mason, Eastern Star, Amaranth, parent, or legal guardian of an active or majority Rainbow Girl in good standing. and attending. If it's a normal business meeting, you'll find girls wearing skirts and dresses, dressed very business-like. And if it's initiation, you will see us all wearing long white gowns, more like bridal gowns.
Oh, that's very interesting. Let me ask you this. You have the audience of the Masons. What is one thing that you would like to tell them on behalf of the Rainbow Girls?
I would definitely like to tell them that I know when people see Rainbow, they just see like the white dresses, like, oh, they're just here to see, like, become more ladylike, I guess. We teach so much more than that. We teach our main two things is love and service. And it's love and service to God, to our country, to our parents, to everybody, and to give back to our community. That's what we're here for. We are here to help everyone in every way that we possibly can.
That's just fantastic.
Is there a Masonic requirement, like in Job's Daughters, that you have to be related to a Mason or an Eastern Star person?
You don't have to be related, but you do have to be between the ages of 11 and 20, and you have to be recommended by a Masonic affiliated person.
Does the Rainbow International have a website?
We had a little problems last year, but we do have our... It's under construction now, so it should be up within the next few weeks.
Okay.
And I believe it's gorainbow.org.
What about a website for Job's Daughters?
No, there is a website for Job's Daughters. Dad LeVeque handles our website. He sets it up every single year according to what the Grand Beth Honor Queen and what the Grand Guardian and Associate Grand Guardian want on the page. So, to all you Masons out there, if you have a daughter from the ages 10 to 20, I would definitely recommend her joining Job's Daughters.
May I just touch on one thing that I did as a Grand Lodge officer in the Grand Lodge of Michigan. The Grand Lodge officer line has made a commitment in the last couple of years that we become certified adults in our youth organizations. Now we have one young man who's not here with us today, and so you need to stay tuned for an interview with Josh, and that will be upcoming. But all three organizations have adults who are certified, and that means that you need to sit through training and understand the protocol of each organization and understand that we have a protection program for the youth in place and become certified in that, so that as an adult you make sure that proper conduct is happening, and should there be any misconduct, you know how to be able to handle that. But the Grand Lodge officers for the state of Michigan have all decided that they would become certified with all three youth groups. That's unprecedented. We are the only, to my knowledge, Grand Lodge in the United States that has did that. I can also tell you that at annual assembly, all 15 of my Grand Lodge officers were present at their opening, and I'm justly proud of that. All 15 of my officers were here last evening for the formal opening of Job's Daughters. That says something. That says that the Masons of Michigan have a deep commitment to the youth, and I am very proud of that. Now, if I could just take a moment, these two young ladies know of something I'm going to talk about because I've revealed it at both of their organizations. I've made a challenge, and the challenge to the youth groups is simply this. If each of the local Bethels or assemblies, or in the case of DMLA, the chapters, will generate $100 by themselves, they have to come up with $100. Doesn't matter how they do it, fundraise, pass the plate, whatever it may be. The Grand Lodge of Michigan and the Michigan Masonic Charitable Foundation is going to match that. We're going to give them another $100. Now, the challenge is to go out and do the most good with that $200. It matters not necessarily what they do, as long as they can document what they do and come back and show us what they did with the $200. So they can't go more than $200. They can go up to $200. We'll match it up to $100 from the Charitable Foundation. And that challenge is being given to every local Bethel chapter and assembly in the state of Michigan. And we're working out the details of finalizing how that's going to work, but my grand officers who I've chosen will be judging who has did the most good for that $200. And in April of this coming year, we will choose one organization that we think has did the most, and we're going to bring them to Grand Lodge on our dime. I have the Shriners in Detroit area are working on having a bus pick them up at their doorstep and bring them to the Grand Traverse. We're going to be having canoe trip. There's going to be a tall ship, schooner ship with sails on it. They can take advantage of that. And they're also going to be asked to stand in front of the Masons of Michigan and tell the Masons what they did to do the most good. I think we as Masons have a lot of lessons to learn from the youth of Michigan. And that was my challenge to them. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they're capable of, because I know they're capable of so much. And after that happens, we have a little surprise for them. The Royal Arch Masons of Michigan have stepped up. And that organization that we bring to Grand Lodge on their way home will have $1,000 more to go out and do more good. I'm excited about the program. These two young ladies I know are really excited about it. And I think it's a way to show the Michigan Masons that they're here, they're excited, and they would like the Masons of Michigan to come and support them. Angie, you have all the money in the world, and you're going to tell the world something about Job's Daughters. If you could change anything about Job's Daughters, and you could do it barring no red tape or anything, what would it be?
If I could take all that money, I would put it towards the Hearing Impaired Kids Endowment Fund and all the other charities we have in Job's Daughters, and try to raise more money even somehow.
Great.
Okay.
That's it. And then I guess the same question to you, Sidney.
So Sidney, if money was no object and you had all the money in the world and you could take Rainbow and present it to the world, or whatever you could do as Grand Worthy Advisor, what would you want to do?
Well, I would definitely give a large portion of the money to the charity for the year, which is Shriners Children's Hospital. That charity means a lot to quite a few girls in Michigan Rainbow. And I would also give the rest of it to the local assemblies to give to their chosen charities for the year.
Reminds me of the talent of the story of the talents.
Matthew 25:15 talks about the talents.
Right.
Man that was given one talent hung on to it and never did a thing with it, buried it in the ground.
Right.
And someone else was given 5 talents and doubled it. And of course, the story goes, the person that doubled it, when he came back, the Lord gave them twice as much as they had. And I'm going to say there was a little encouragement from the good book when I thought about the challenge.
Good.
And as Grand Master, I would like to thank Angie and Sidney for taking a few moments to be with me and to interview, because I think it's important that we know more about those organizations that are close to us, meeting in the same buildings that we meet in as Masons, that we never get it, or we don't take the time to go and visit. And I would hope that this would encourage our Masons to go and spend one night at least to come and see what these girls do. You will be inspired by the work that they do.